In June last year, I had unboxed all of my manga that had been in storage for a good 2-3 years, and I decided to read everything from the beginning again. As of the 31st of December, I had read 102 volumes out of 486, which was around 20%. And I can give you those figures because of Caitlin. She has an amazing spreadsheet which I have stolen. So thank you, Caitlin, because you have made my manga organization so much easier to manage. Now, this year I decided to read 1 volume a day from my collection, plus at least 1 volume a week until the end of the year. So that's 365 plus 52, so that's 417, I think, volumes by the end of the year. And I also want to hit 80% of the whole collection read. So I wanted to do a quick manga log for January, and I started off with Ma, which I made a video on already. I think it's a great shonen series, maybe a little bit too long. It started off as what I thought was an isekai, but turned out just to be a big battle royale. Well, not battle royale, more of just a tournament arc for a good 7, maybe I think it was 10 volumes. And I think maybe I would recommend this one if it was around 7 to 10 volumes. 33% of it is just non-stop battles. It kind of got a bit tedious because the same characters fight over and over again, although they use different moves. It kind of became samey. But the characters are good, the fights are interesting, just maybe not 10 volumes interesting. I then read Vinland Saga, the first volume, and I think it's amazing. There's nothing really else to say about it. Most manga collectors have this on their shelf, which kind of speaks for itself. I have read the anime, so maybe I'm a little bit biased, but I love Thorfinn as a character. Following him on his little revenge story is kind of thrilling and depressing all at the same time. The order is slightly different in the manga. In the anime, he starts off young and he grows older. In this, he's already a teenager. Then we have a little bit of a flashback, but I don't think it takes anything away from the series. I'm very much looking forward to reading the next couple of volumes and then collecting the rest of it. And I've spoken about this in my manga haul already. Boys Run the Riot is a great coming of age story. Ryo is very relatable in the sense that growing up as a kid is very challenging, very difficult. And although Ryo is the main character and him accepting himself is absolutely fine, other people accepting him for being transgender is something that he's not extremely comfortable speaking openly about. And this goes for other characters as well. It's not just Ryo who wants people to accept him. Other characters also want to be accepted for their hobbies, for their interests. And it's nice that this group that Ryo has found himself in is very accepting of anyone, regardless of who they are, where they come from, or how they feel. Really feel good. I think the full volume is still on back order for myself, but I will read volume 3 very soon, and I'm very much looking forward to it. And then I read number 5. I didn't know what I was going to expect when starting the volume, but I've thoroughly enjoyed every single second of it. It follows a man named Number 5 who has abandoned the military group he was a part of and is now on the run. And the group that he was a part of is trying to hunt him down and kill him. And unless I missed it, I don't think we find out why he is actually on the run. So there's a little bit of mystery there, as well as a fair bit of suspense with the other members trying to hunt Number 5 down. And what's crazy, and I wasn't expecting to like that much, is the artwork. It's so surreal and unnerving. At times it can go from relatively realistic facial expressions to really cartoony. Sometimes there's hyper detail in the faces, and then sometimes there's just black and white lines with no screen tone whatsoever. I'm normally quite open-minded, but as soon as I saw the art, I had a feeling I wasn't going to enjoy it. But by the end of the volume, I can't wait to get the next one. And then I decided to reread Deadman Wonderland. It's a shonen series about a young boy who is falsely accused for killing all of his classmates. He is then thrown into prison. Turns out he has a superpower that he can manipulate his blood, and some of the other inmates in the prison can also do the same. And then the prison guards pin them against each other in battle royales and one-on-one fights, and people kind of chime in and gamble money and see who's going to win. That's basically how the prison makes its money and becomes pretty self-sustaining. And the point of the series is that Gunter wants to escape the prison. Now there's a host of interesting characters that Gunter comes across. There's a bit of backstory between him and a long-lost friend. And I would say the first 2/3 of the series are extremely interesting. It kind of falls flat for me personally, mainly because of the villains and their kind of reasoning behind their actions. One is stupid. I don't think there's any other way of putting it. And one of them, actually, there is a long flashback in the final chapters, and as the reader, having that kind of information dumped on you in the final moments of a series kind of makes you not really care, to be honest. But it was a really interesting read up until that point. Maybe wouldn't recommend it. It is really edgy. I would say kind of similar to Tokyo Ghoul in a way. There's a lot of blood, a lot of limbs, and yeah, it's okay. It's good. It's good. And then I read volume 1 of Marsh. This is probably the only series in Jump at the moment that is constantly making me laugh on a week by week basis every single time. In a wizarding world where everybody has magic, Marsh is the only person who doesn't. But he is extremely strong and he uses his muscles to comedic effect constantly. One of the funniest moments for me in volume 1 is probably how he flies his broomstick. Obviously he has no magic, so he either throws the broom and jumps onto it mid-air to move, or he constantly kicks the air and can float indefinitely because of the propulsion from his legs. Volume 1 is very much comedy orientated, but as the series goes on, it definitely adds a lot more action. But the comedy is always there. And that was my January reading log. I've read 35 volumes in January. That brings me up to around 27% in total, I think, read, and I think around 140 read as of today, because I've read a couple of volumes as it is currently the beginning of February as of recording. But yeah, hopefully I will be able to reach my goal of 80% completion. It's going to take some time, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.